Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl and today I want to talk about honey-do lists. So at the beginning of summer, probably in between the end of spring and the beginning of summer, Jamie wanted me to write up a to-do list for us for over the summer. So I made up my to-do list and I just want to go through some of the things that he actually did get completed on my honey-do list. It was for both of us, but when it came right down to it, he did most of it. So on my list, I had pruned junipers, and these junipers were in the front, across from the front of the house, along the retaining wall, coming in the driveway, coming into our property. The other one, number 2, was fix the fence. It was falling down because it hasn't really been maintained before we even moved in, and we had intentions of fixing the fence, but I guess if it's not written down on paper, it doesn't get done, or it doesn't exist. So fix the fence was number 2. Number 3 was remove the lights from the cedars. So previous owner, they had wrapped Christmas lights around the bottom of their cedars, and I don't know when they did this. It's been a long time, I'm sure. And they practically, Jamie had to cut the Christmas lights away from the cedars because they have been there for so long. They were like, the cedars were growing around the Christmas lights. So that was number 3. Number 4 was sharpen the blade on the ride-em lawnmower and the push lawnmower as well. Number 5 was set up a rain barrel on the deck and one near the garden. Number 6 was build shelves in my garden shed over by where the raised garden beds are. Number 7 was put the siding back on the house. So after we did the renovations in the kitchen and the living room, we actually had to take the siding because we removed one of the windows from the kitchen. So where this cupboard was and where we have the gas stove, there was another window on this side. Well, we removed it so that we could have a wall with cabinets, since we were taking out the wall that separated the kitchen from the living room and we put in the peninsula. We had to take the siding off from the on the outside exterior wall on the deck. So I needed the siding put back up on there and then have the exterior lights put back on. There's an exterior light by the patio garden door over off of the deck. And then I had 2 more exterior lights that I wanted installed at the front of the house, one on each side of the garage. And so now I'm going to take you around and show you some of the things that were done and some of the things that weren't done and why they didn't get done. So we're out on the deck, and as you can see, he has all the siding back up on this wall, has put the trim around the window for the kitchen, and has put the trim around the door of the garden door. But beside the garden door, there's a little square there missing in the siding, and that's where the exterior light needs to go still. Now the reason why he hasn't put the light up by that door is he actually had to get some more wiring and a new box to attach the light onto. And behind me is where we were going to put one of our rain barrel catchers. And the only reason he didn't get that done was because we actually got a hold of a company to come and put in new fascia and gutters, and we went to them in May and they were supposed to come and do it, but I guess their gutter guy hurt his back. And so the company has never gotten back to us as far as getting that done. So now I've gone to another company, and now we are at the beginning of December. And as you can see, we've gotten a little bit of snow, had our first snowfall yesterday, and it is December the 3rd now. So this is our first snowfall for December, and we didn't get it until December. So the reason why that is the reason why we never got the rain catcher set up on here, because we were going to hook it up to this downspout coming out from this gutter here, and we were going to have it so it would direct that water into the rain catcher, and then put up another rain catcher over at one of the other downspouts on the other side of the house, in where we have the dog kennel. And then I have a third rain barrel catcher, and I want to have that over by my garden shed, because there are gutters on each side of the garden shed, and I figured that would be a good way of catching that water. Or we might end up putting it so that there's a downspout that comes from the shop, and we thought that maybe we could put it there too. So haven't really thought about exactly where we're going to put the third one, but the two that we do have, we have those figured out as well. So let's take a look at some of the other things that were on my list. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. These are pyramid cedars, and they go up quite tall, but near the bottom here is where the deer has actually eaten most of the branches. The deer really like the pyramid cedars. So, and then down below, these are the junipers, and these are what I wanted to have pruned. So last year we had, when we got the frost the frost actually did some damage to the cedars. That's why there's all this brown and orange on it. Killed off some of the cedars. So we were going to prune out this dead stuff and shape them. And what Jamie wanted to do was kind of shape them like a bonsai. And I think that would look really nice. So this pyramid cedar still has lights attached to it. These are the lights that Jamie has taken down. They had lights on all of these other cedars. So there's another handful of lights there that he's taken down. And then this fence was literally falling down, and he had to cut out from this Saskatoon tree in behind the fence. He had to cut branches out of there because that was pushing the fence down, and it was in the way. So he had to cut out the Saskatoon branches from the back in there to be able to nail that fence back up. So that has been taken care of, and it looks really good. So if I look at the front of the house, he also has installed these lights on the front of the house, and I actually really like these lights. We have these lights as well. I have one on each side of the garage. We have the same light in the kennel, and when we flip the switch on, if it's daylight, they won't turn on, but once it starts getting dark, then they end up turning on. So I really am liking that feature on these lights. And this is the back of the kennel where we have the dogs to contain them, and that's at our basement door. So in this corner is the downspout where I would like to have my other rain barrel catcher and have that set up there. Then we have another downspout here So I'm not sure if I would maybe have it on the ground here. I don't know if we could possibly set it up on this ledge because the spout is down at the bottom, but it would have to be maybe higher up. So I don't know if that would actually be a good spot to have it. Or, so looking on the other side of the shop, we have another downspout that comes over here and comes down. Now that could be an ideal spot to have a rain catcher there. And I don't think we have, no, we don't have a downspout on that side. So then the rain basically would just come down here and follow along and go into there. So that's an option there too. Now if we come over here where we have the garden shed and I come along the side here, there's one of the rain barrels there upside down. We could actually maybe have it come here and have it on this, but I think we would get more rain water, not so much off of this garden shed, but I think we would have more coming off of the shop. So yeah, that might be an option. Now as far as the shelves in the garden shed, that's not a big huge deal, and I mean there's lots of time to be able to do that and put those in this next year, because here's the apple tree that I was wanting to prune. I pruned it pretty heavily, so as you can see on the ground, these are the branches. I still haven't picked them up, but we had such a light snowfall that I can still see them, I can still pick them up. So what I've done is I've done kind of an umbrella effect on this apple tree, and I cut on this tree anything that was facing straight up to the sky. I clipped those off too. Any branches that were crossing each other, which impedes the growth and ends up sending the branches in a different direction. Anything that branches rubbing each other or crossing each other, I remove those. And you do the 3 Ds: disease, damaged, or dead. You'll remove any of those in those categories. So I did remove quite a bit off of this tree, and that's okay. Like, we didn't even know this was an apple tree, and this last year it had 1 apple on it. That's the only reason I knew that this was an apple tree. Now over on this other side I have a crab apple tree, and I will definitely be pruning that quite heavily, but I'm going to do it in the spring. I'm not going to do it now, but I will do it in the spring. And I think that, and I have another existing, an older apple tree that was on the property, and it's over on the other side of the house. I will be pruning that one as well, and that's what I want to watch out for, is any of the new branches that are coming off of the old branches, and if they're going straight up, I'll be removing those, and any of the diseased, damaged, or dead branches also, and anything that's crossing. So then what I'll do is I'll take all these branches that I'm picking up, and we have a pile, a burning pile that we have over by our burning barrel. And also sometimes we use these branches. So if Jamie builds me a long bed for my potatoes, we can take these branches, and he takes a pair of pruners and he chops them up into pieces, and we fill the bottom of the raised bed with these chopped up branches. That way we're not using a bunch of really good soil to fill up, because if it's about 2 feet high, that's a lot of dirt that we're putting in there, and we can put all these dead branches in there and they'll just decompose over the years, but that'll be a layer in the bottom of the raised bed. It won't be up near the top, and we'll fill it probably about 2/3 full with dead wood, branches, that kind of thing, and then we'll put the good soil on top of it. So I'm just going to take these over and put them into the pile that I have over there. I'll grab some more. Should have wore some gloves. So this is our pile of branches. I noticed that Jamie put the juniper, he trimmed off all the lower branches off of those junipers, so he has those in this pile. So this is all stuff that we can, I noticed, there's also some of the Saskatoon branches that he had to cut down, some pretty thick and branches. They have a pretty good thickness on them, and I mean, they're in the way of the fence, so they had to be removed. There was not much we could do about that. So here we got Jamie's new quad with the blade on it. He was pretty happy to see that snow yesterday. So I'm coming in here. This is another part of, it's a lean-to on the shop. So down here, this is the deck where it has the Ride-'em lawnmower blade on it. And so Jamie has removed that off of the Ride-'em lawnmower, and that way he'll be able to sharpen up that blade and have it ready for next year's grass cutting. In the spring, I will be putting back on there to prune the junipers, so we can get, try to focus some energy on that in the spring to clean those up. And set up the rain barrels on the deck and near the garden. Now we do had a fellow come and give us a quote. This is another company that I went through for the gutters and the fascia. So he's going to be sending me a quote, and I'm not sure when they're going to be able to do it, but I will be getting them to, when they do the downspouts, we have 2 rain barrels over behind my car, and we'll make sure that we have those situated so that they're ready for in the spring also. So that'll go back on my list. Building the shelves in the garden shed will go back on my list, and I'm sure that once Jamie gets the wiring for that last light over on the deck, then he'll install that light back on the deck. So I think he did pretty good, actually, for the amount of things that I had on my list. And then I will just add on there for him to build me that raised bed so that I can plant some potatoes in there. He said he was going to take some measurements and see if it was going to be feasible for him to do that, because he didn't want the bed coming out too far at the back of the shop, because he does have a big truck door on that shop, and he doesn't want that bed coming out too far where it would be in the way of anything that he might want to be driving in there or out. And we can't have that bed, because once he builds it, I mean, he's not going to be able to move it. So we'll just have to, I'll let him decide on that one, and he can figure that out. So we'll have a new list for in the spring, and what are some things that you have worked on over this last summer and things that you want to add to your list, your honeydew list for next spring. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.